Brother Jeroen, thank you for coming to see us today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I'd like to hear from you how your journey to Islam started.
So where to start?
From wherever you like. What is the background? What is your background?
Yes, I find it kind of hard to tell, to explain how I discovered Islam or how I discovered the existence of God, because I was raised in a atheistic, agnostic family.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yes.
Not Christian?
No, not Christian. And I always thought that religion was something from the past, and that as the time goes by, less and less people would believe in a God or religion.
Is this something that was relayed to you by your parents?
Yes, my parents were born in a Christian surrounding, but when they get older, they didn't believe in God anymore. My dad thinks he knows for sure that God doesn't exist, and my mother says maybe yes, maybe no.
Not sure.
So it's more at the agnostic side of the road. So that's how I raised up, and that's what was my perception of religion. And when I asked my mother, why are people still believing in God, or why did humans ever decided to believe in God, or why did they? And then my mother would tell, like, yeah, people didn't know where the rain was coming from, and they have the land that they are working on, and they needed rain, so they start praying to a God, and then it rains, and like
so as if people invented the idea of God to
yes,
to explain things,
to understand things. Yes, so that was my perception of God. So when I see my younger self, for when I was 18, for example, and I met my older self now, and I would explain to him why I decided it, or how it came that I discovered Islam or believing in God. When I would tell it in short, he would think, you become crazy. So I prefer to have to take a longer time with people to discuss and to explain how.
We have the time. Okay, go on.
And I thought for myself that when people nowadays come to God or come to a new religion or something, there has to be some kind of crisis. People have to live in the ditch and don't know the sense of life anymore. Or maybe someone died and they have something to hold on, or to start believing in the hereafter, or people have to be crazy in love with some kind of guy or girl who happens to be of some kind of religion, and you have to change your religion or come to this religion to marry this girl or to marry this guy.
Yeah, some people do that.
Yes, and I'm not trying to. I respect those. This can all be wonderful ways of discovering God and Islam. So I'm not dissing those kind of ways, but I'm just trying to explain my perception of a religion and why people come to a new religion. But I discovered Islam during my studies. I studied sociology here at the Erasmus University of Rotterdam, and we discussed a lot of topics, issues dealing with the role of religion in society. So we had a lot of discussions in the class talking about all these issues. And most of the time, religion and Islam in particular was approached as cause of all these problems. Trouble, yes. A troublemaker. Yeah. And some of my friends and college students in the class where I was discussing this with, they say, no, Islam is not the problem. It is the solution.
الإسلام هو الحل.
And I say, so yeah. You can believe in that as you wish. For you, your religion. For me, my atheism. And I didn't disrespect religions at all. And I wasn't a hater of religion. I wasn't a hater of Islam.
You were just not interested.
I was not interested. And I felt maybe kind of pity for them that they still believe in God. And that they're making life unnecessarily difficult for themselves.
True, because they restrict themselves.
They restrict themselves, they pray, they fast and all these things. And for who, for what? But this was some kind of a trigger for me to discover more of religion in general, the existence in God, of the phenomenon of God in general. So I read all these books about different religions and also philosophies, and also I thought I wasn't interested for my own well-being. I thought it always would be interesting and useful for me as a sociologist to learn about different religions and philosophy. And now and then I came to something and I thought, that friend of mine, how is it possible that he can believe in this, or this is not part of the solution, this is part of the problem. But then I read step by step, and okay, if you look at this way, okay. But then I started, I read something new and I thought, no, but this is crazy to believe in. It's impossible to believe in.
So you were going and coming.
Yes, exactly. And every time I thought, tomorrow when I see one of my friends, I will discuss this about them with them. And
but it is interesting that you were really interested in thinking about it.
Yes. I like to analyze things, and also these television programs about political developments. It's in my nature. I like to follow them. So that was my drive, and I also like discussions and debate, trying to convince people. So this was another drive for me as well. And I was trying to convince my friend that God doesn't exist, but that didn't work out.
Where was he from, your friend?
This guy was from Suriname. Suriname?
Yeah. Suriname.
Yes, Suriname, yes.
Was he a Muslim?
Yes, he was a Muslim. And for me, it was kind of a surprise because I grew up in a diverse family with different adopted children. For my brother, for example, is originally from Suriname. And I thought always that, yes, I thought religion is something from the past, and especially when it comes to Christianity. Well, that was my association with religion, the Christianity. And when it comes to Islam, I thought it was like a Christianity for Arab people or for Turkish people. But when I met my friend, his name is Sheyan, and he was a Muslim as well, and he was from Suriname. Some of the boxes I made up in my mind start to crunch.
This is not an Arab.
Yes. So some things became more and more interesting, and there are 1,001 reasons how I discovered Islam.
But something must trigger a change.
I think there are a few most important things. One of them is the concept of God in Islam. When I thought about God before, I thought of a more anthropomorphistic. It's like a human. God is made very human in the Christian theology, at least in my perception. When you came to the Vatican in Rome, and you have this room called the Sixtine Chapel, 16th Chapel. It's like the headpiece of the Vatican, and there I thought it was Michelangelo painted God on a cloud with a long beard, and that was my perception of God. And for me, it was unimaginable that I should believe in this type of God.
You couldn't accept a God in a human shape.
No, at all. But when I discovered that in the Islamic traditions and in the Quran, God is something unimaginable.
Unlike anything else.
Unlike anything
ليس
else.
كمثله شيء.
Yes. Far above our dimension of time and space, and something independent, something. So, and during all these research and the books I read about philosophies and religion, I thought, yeah, that's kind of God that seems not that crazy after all.
Reasonable.
Yes, it's reasonable. And I found a paper of school in when I was, I think it's like 15 or 16 years old, and we have to answer the question, what means God for you? And I didn't believe in God, but I tried to make some sense of it. And I said, I don't believe in God, but if you ask me what means God for you, then I think it's comes close to that inner feeling sometimes when at moments of hope or fear, or when you as a child, when I was locked up in the bathroom, for example, and I couldn't open the door. And even if I don't believe in God at that moment, every human how do you say, focuses on this inner strength or source, or this deeper connection with this bigger source or something, something like your conscience. I didn't know how to put it down on that paper, but I start.
You feel in need of something.
Yes, but when I wrote it back, I thought this is the fitra.
It is the fitra.
Every human being has this deeper feeling, this deeper connection with this source of life. So when I discovered the concept of fitra also in Islam, I thought, okay, this doesn't seem very strange, actually. This
and it agreed with your earlier thinking.
Yes, exactly. Yes, thank you. So when it comes to the concept of God, of the fitra, and also world history, how societies developed, and this was part of my study as well. How you see that you can see how religions developed over the globe, and how religions such as Christianity, or all this kind of religions, how they developed, and that they share altogether some kind of common ground, and that you can track back in history how these religions changed. Also, when it comes to Christianity, with all these concilies, councils, how the church decided to take the Trinity before, but as part of the Christian religion. But in the original message of Jesus, you couldn't find it back. This whole concept of the Trinity, for example. So, and also because of this friend of mine, Shean, from Suriname, and my brother, who's also from Suriname, things started to make sense that Islam wasn't that strange for me after all. So it was a very gradual process.
How long did this process take?
Between 1.5 to 2 years. Yes, that I read all these books and discussed. And it was a very intense process, and I couldn't talk and think about anything else, actually, at the time. When I was waiting for the bus at the bus station, and there was an old lady next to me, and in front of us there was a big tree, and out of the blue, I started a conversation about the existence of God with this woman. That, do you believe in God? And she said, yes, I believe. So, okay, yes, okay. So, and actually, since then, I couldn't let it go anymore. This energy and this drive. And
how did you make the decision then?
Yes, it was a very rational process at the beginning, and it was more kind of like a study object for me when it started. But at some time I thought, okay, all these theories and all these principles, and they do make sense, but I have to see it in practice. How does this work out. So when it comes to the prayer, for example, I thought, even if I don't believe in a God, even if I don't believe in a hereafter, I think it's good for every human being to take yourself out of these daily routines and take time for yourself and think, okay, where am I coming from? Where am I heading? What is going well? What can I do better? And I think this is the essence of every prayer we do. If every human being would do that, I think that this human would be a better person. But I think also society as a whole would be a lot of better off. So I decided to bring it in practice for myself.
So you went to the mosque?
No, I went to a shop and get a booklet about the prayer. And I just read about how everything works, and I learned some of the surahs of the Quran, the short ones, to make it easy for myself. And I just was reading this, and my parents were upstairs and I was downstairs, and it was, I think, 12 o'clock or something. So it was
at night?
At night, yes, it was at night. And I was little bit nervous. Like, if they would see me like this, what would they think about me? Yeah. But also for myself, it felt kind of strange to see me trying to pray or something. Because those perception of religion and religious people were still in the back of my mind.
But you wanted to feel it.
I wanted to feel it. And when I started, I felt some kind of crazy butterflies all over my stomach. And when I was a child, I knew when you fell in love with something or a girl, you felt something sweet or this, but this was that feeling
different.
Extraordinary. Yes, and I get goosebumps, and I was, what is this? And I was just, when I look back, I think that the way I prayed was the way it should be when you consider all these rituals and stuff. But I felt that the intention or the feeling of the vibe that we supposed to get when we are in prayer, that was perfect at that moment.
Subhanallah.
And when I felt it, I felt like everything is in balance and everything is the way it's supposed to be, and I get goosebumps. Also, now when I think about it, how it was, I get goosebumps as well. And I said to myself, I've tried to not to forget this, what I'm feeling now. And because the process before was a lot more rational, and when it became also a more emotional thing, it made the circle complete. And I did different moments like these when it comes to the Quran.
You had a copy of the Quran?
I had a copy of the Quran with translation, and another friend of mine, he was also learning about Islam, and he said, yes, but all of these translation, they're not that fine. I can't read it. It's not nice to read. And I said, no, I have a nice copy. Maybe you can try it. And that was the only copy I had, and I borrowed it him. And it was about a month or so when I came back at the home of my friend, and when I stepped in the house, I felt that I missed the Quran for the last month.
Oh. So you asked him for it?
Yeah, I know. He was in the kitchen, and I walked in and I took off my shoes and I followed this feeling, and I followed exactly the place where it was at his room, and it's the same feeling I felt during prayer. I felt during picking up this Quran and hold it to my chest.
Subhanallah.
So there were some of these moments as well, besides the rational process. And then the Ramadan came, and I decided, okay, let's partake in the Ramadan, and
you wanted to experience fasting as well.
Yes, in the same way, and I always thought that I didn't felt the need for some kind of shahada in public, or I felt it was more for myself, something for myself, my relation to God, and but during this Ramadan, I felt like I have to say it out loud. I'm Muslim and I'm proud. So I decided to go to the mosque. That's where I met Jacob. I don't know if Jacob is also in this series.
Yes, of course. Yes. We did. He's brilliant.
Yeah, so I know Jacob from the day of my shahada. And
was it here or?
No, it was in the south of Rotterdam, and the mosque that he was that time.
SubhanAllah. So it's really a process.
Yes.
Both intellectual as well as emotional.
Yes, exactly. So, and that was how I came to the Shahada. But and the Shahada, most of the people consider the Shahada as the point of now you are a Muslim. But every day, the struggle starts again when you wake up. And if I remember well, I think the Prophet, peace be upon him, was asked from when do people reach this level of true belief, and I thought he answered something like, when you wish for your brother, for your neighbor, what you wish for yourself. And this is a struggle every day you have to consider to take. So when people ask you when did you become a Muslim, or a true Muslim, I think you have every day you have to strive again.
Well, it's the iman that builds up.
Yes.
Now, I'm sure people around you were noticing this change in you, right? Or did it come as a shock to them that you eventually made the Shahada?
No, a shock. No, I involved my parents also in this process. I had also a lot of discussions with them about religion in general and God and Islam.
Were they okay with it?
And when the moment came, I decided, or I told them I think I know for sure, as far as I can know for sure, that I believe in God, and I believe in Islam as the truth or something like that. At that moment, it a little bit came for them as a shock, because they thought it's just some study object for him, and he was
you
really
were not taking it seriously.
Yeah, well, serious, because I was really interested, and I thought about it. We talked about it a lot. So, yes, so they know it was more serious than any other topic. But when it come that close, that their son decided to become a Muslim or start really believing in God, and they were kind of afraid that their son was walking on the other path that they walked upon. And I think every parent hopes that their children are walking
same road.
Yeah, same road, and further ahead at the same road. But I told my mom, I'm still walking on the same road. The way you raised me is
to seek the truth.
To seek the truth, and also it's for 90% Islamic. I told my mom, you always learned me that I can't be arrogant for the things I have, for some talents I have, for some things I can do better than other children at school, because that my father and mother met each other. It's due to all kind of circumstances, and it could happen another way around, and you were never there. You see, so
it's not a personal accomplishment.
No, it's not up to you to be proud of yourself. So you have to be grateful to something bigger, greater than yourself. And they didn't call it God. And if you think that when you go deeper into this with them, they would say some kind of energy or some kind of force or some kind of source. And I think, the only thing I did is I unraveled this.
Well, you arrived.
Yes, exactly.
Has any of your family members embraced Islam after you?
No, not in the same way I did. But when we discussed Islam, or there was this one night where I explained to my mother what the meaning of Islam. Also this different ahkam, the meaning and the purpose behind it, and also the maqasid of Islam. And after, when I explained this, she said, everything you just said to me, I believe in it as well.
She said that to you.
Said that to
me.
So I said, okay, wow.
you there then?
Yes. But the next day, it seems like, I don't know if it's forgotten, but it's a more general way of believing or accepting.
Well, it's a question of hidayah, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, Brother Jeroen, it's really fascinating. Again, thank you very much for coming today and talking to me.
Thank you. Barakallahu Fik for being here.